What's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? Because you guys know what it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Pretend City rocks, we're rocking, we'll thrive. Happy Thursday, everybody. Getting ready to go Memorial Day weekend. It is Thursday, May 27th. And guys, I have no idea how I managed to get this podcast, but this one is absolutely insane. So you guys know the band Stitched Up Heart, right? They're absolutely killer. And I got a chance to talk to their frontwoman, Mixi, about a couple of different things. We got to talk about, with this pandemic, the band really jumped into Twitch streaming, especially Mixi. So we talk about the evolution of that, how she got to talk to a bunch of artists, including John Moyer of Disturbed, Philibani of All That Remains, and of course, someone who's been on the podcast as well, Monte, of course. And we also talk about the fact that the band has been working on brand new material, even though their Darkest album came out in 2020. Yeah, because what else you can do during the pandemic and what that could potentially sound like. But you're going to want to stay for the end of the conversation because Mixi got a dog and she's thinking about bringing it on tour with her. So if you enjoy dogs, oh boy, that last 20, 25 minutes of the podcast, you're going to have a great time. So please welcome Mixi from Stitched Up Heart to the Chord Progression Podcast. Are you guys ready? Because trust me, I sure as hell am. Let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. This is one that, not gonna lie, I can't believe that I actually made this happen. So, without further ado, this band released a brand new album back in 2020 during a pandemic. They have been Twitch streaming like crazy, and the growth is just gonna keep going once live shows return because they're already on 2 festival bills that, oddly enough, I'm gonna be at both of them. So, am I gonna see them twice? Yep. So please welcome to the band Stitched Up Heart. Please welcome Mixi. So Mixi, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Hey dude, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. How's everything going in your world at this current time that we're living in?
Oh man, well just the word festivals just excites me. You're like, festivals. We actually have 7 this year. I don't know if all of them are announced, but they were pandemic festivals that got moved to the next year. So I guess we get to be on all those festivals again. So, you can't really complain. It's pretty cool to see the lineup every time it's posted.
It is, because it seems like every single time I'm seeing new lineups posted. I know the day that we're recording this here in Milwaukee, the Summerfest lineup just got released for their ground stage headliners. I'm like, oh shoot, any band I want to see just running through, and all of a sudden I'm wearing the Rise Against shirt today for a reason, because I'm like, yes, finally! But then other festivals I was looking forward to, seeing Blue Ridge consistently release a different band or different 2 bands every single day. I know you're on the lineup for that, and I will be there. And also seeing that you're on the lineup for Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin in July, another festival I'm going to be at every single day. So I get to see you play twice. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really, really fun year. Actually, we already have stuff in the works because I think the month of September there's 4 festivals and they're just scattered about. So we're trying to make a tour happen. Maybe, I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. There's definitely potential for that to happen as well, because I believe you're also on the bill for incarceration in Ohio. I think I saw that. If I'm wrong on that, okay.
Oh, I'm so excited too because it's a jail, an old jail that's supposedly haunted, and it's I don't know. I'm a little scared.
Oh, come on. There's a lot of places that are haunted, and it's just kind of cool to go into them and just see them. Here in Milwaukee, we have the Rave, and that's supposedly haunted.
Yes.
I got to go in there on Halloween and just with a flashlight, just walk around the dark, see what happens.
Near everyone's the pool.
I found it. I had to walk in the pool. I'm like, I got to find this thing, and I found it. I'm just like, yes!
Wait, so you actually saw something out in the pool and at the Rave?
Yeah, I found something in the pool. They kind of had like the smoke machines going to kind of if anybody walked in there. And then they had a red balloon tied to the bottom grate, like it's Pennywise the Clown. I'm just sitting there thinking with my flashlight, oh, this is cool. And then I heard a chair move on the other side. I'm like, all right, there's definitely either someone playing a prank on me or this is haunted. All right, let's take a look at all the signatures on the wall and just see what's going on here and see if I can find any bands that I've seen here. And I just keep walking around like, okay, let's see. There's one, got to find the big one. Ooh, look, it's Ice Nine Kills. Perfect.
I love that band. We played the Rave with Steel Panther, I think, in December, not this December, but the one before that. And we wanted to go and check out the pool, but I think that we just forgot at a certain point, and then the bands all just left, and I was like, we forgot the pool.
Well, you definitely come back to Milwaukee because we'd love to have you back here playing live music, and then you can go check out the pool and make sure you sign the wall.
I actually say all the time when people ask me, like, what's the most random place that you guys play that you really, really love playing? And Wisconsin's one of our favorite states to play just because, really, and that's not just saying it because you're from Wisconsin, but because everybody is so welcoming and the rock scene there is so rad. And it's just like, I just love the energy and the vibe from all the people. It's just such a solid group of people in that state.
It really is. There's a whole entire family vibe that comes around it as well, where there's people who I haven't seen since the pandemic started that I'd see at pretty much every single show, it felt like. I still have no idea what their names are. I know what their faces look like, and I can't wait to see them again. And I'm like, okay, when's the next one coming? The next time I'm probably going to get a chance to see him is, I think, in August, because I think the Deftones and Gojira show got rescheduled. And I'm like, oh yeah, I still got my ticket for that. It's still in my drawer somewhere. I'm like, I got to find it, but I know exactly where it is.
Right. Love Deftones.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one. I mean, mostly just because, well, I bought the ticket. I want to see Deftones live. I want to see Gojira live, and hell, live music. Woo!
Right. I know. Like our one of our managers is kind of a pessimist about the whole pandemic. He's like, well, we'll see. Like, we'll see what happens. It probably won't happen until 2022, but we're booking a tour. So it's like, we'll see. But I'm like, no, I believe it's going to happen. Stop being so pessimistic. Like, it's going to happen.
It's got to be more like optimistic Prime, I should say, turn into Transformers kind of thing right there. Because, I mean, taking a look at all the different, we're having so many different festivals that are announcing lineups that are already getting the thumbs up, good to go. I mean, like, I'll use Blue Ridge as an example. They didn't start releasing the lineup until they got the thumbs up from the local government that, you're good to go. Vaccination rates are increasing still. I mean, I got both my shots. I feel like I'm like a pet, like something. I'm updated on my shots. We're good to go. So I'm ready to go out and do some of this stuff and have a bunch of fun. Oh, shoot. I think I might have lost her. Dang it. Mixi, you still there? Yikes.
Oh, hey. I don't know if you noticed that it just cut off.
Yeah, it just cut off. I was like, oh, shoot. I hope I didn't lose her. That was not good. Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Yikes.
Dude, we had to get fiber wire cable. But anyway, so let's continue.
Let's continue on. Sorry about that. That one, most time I don't know what happens. This one, I know it was on me, so hopefully it doesn't happen again because, oh boy, I have had the internet problems in the past. However, like I was saying, we're seeing different things with festivals pop up, and we're seeing local governments give them the okay. We're seeing vaccination increase rates, so I'm like, okay, hopefully this works, and of course we'll see what happens come June, come July when these things start working their way. So hoping for the best. And I mean, we all want live music to come back. Why not be optimistic? It gives us hope.
Right. I know. I mean, I've been optimistic. We had one tour. So you had mentioned our album came out literally March 20th or March 13th, 2020. So it was like the day everything shut down. Album fully released. And then that same day our tour got pushed. It was like, dude, so the feeling that you have just to see a show, just to see a festival again, imagine like that is like your life purpose or whatever. And you can't do it for like a year and a half. So all the bands that you guys are going to see, every one of them is just going to be so ready to freaking blow everybody's faces off. Like everybody is just so going to be so excited. All this pent up energy. It's our insides that need to they're being like suffocated out here, so we need that to breathe.
We just need to have that one moment where we're able to just all get together and just finally just enjoy rock music once again as this like large connective family, to the point where there's going to be a bunch of us that seem like we're going to end up killing each other in a mosh pit, but it's all going to be in good fun. We're all going to enjoy it, especially someone like myself who, if I do get an injury, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm good. I don't care. We're going. It's happened before.
I hope everybody's injured, but just kidding.
I mean, if you really want to make that happen, I can try and make that happen, but no promises.
If you didn't get an injury during the show, you did it wrong.
Honestly,
don't tell my lawyer I said that.
Hey, I'll put it this way. If it's me that gets injured at the show, and I won't tell your lawyer because I'll still be happy as all hell. Be like, Kevin, you got injured. What the hell, man? I'll be like, yeah, but it was worth it. You going to say anything about it? Yeah, I'm going to say it was worth it. Duh. Who cares?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to see what kind of weird floating devices. Usually like on festivals, I like to like bust out a float of some sort and just crowd surf on it at a certain point in the set. And the last time I did it was Rock on the Range, and I crowd surfed on an inflatable like Pegasus, but she popped like while it was mid crowd surf in air, like, and it went down like a ton of bricks into people's hands, and it was so embarrassing on like the big screen and everything. Monster Energy's watching, everybody's watching. Sully from Godsmack was watching. He got on camera, he's laughing at me like an idiot.
I'll say, man, that just kind of piqued an idea in my head because I bought this thing like 2-3 years ago just with the excuse of I might need this one day, but I have not used it yet, but it might actually work because I have this giant inflatable, it was supposed to be an inflatable and mechanical bowl where you're supposed to like put it in water and people are supposed to like jostle the sides of it, so you're supposed to like simulate a mechanical bowl but in the water. I'm like, I've never used this before, so if you're looking for something crazy, I got something for you.
I've actually ridden one of those in the water, and I did pretty good. I don't know how well they would do on a top of a crowd, though, because they're like literally really hard to stay afloat. You've got like the bowl in the center, and then the surrounding areas, what people will hold that, and then the bowl just like twists.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah, I was pretty good. I think I stayed on longer than all the boys. Nice.
Then that might not be the best idea to throw it on top of the crowd because who knows where all of a sudden you'll be on the crowd. Next thing, the balls just get jostled one way, you'll go flying the other way.
And I'm trying to find a safer thing to crowd surf on.
I mean, the Pegasus thing might be another good idea to try as long as you get one that, won't pop. But then again, you're kind of playing a game right there where you have to figure out what you want to go with. But I'd say especially with live shows returning and getting back to festivals, with the amount of festivals that you're going to be playing at, just go all out and just really make an experience where people are going to remember, hey, remember when Mixi ended up crowd surfing on just all these different kind of floaties? It's going to end up creating this whole entire lore around Stitched Up Heart where people are going to want to go see live shows because they don't know exactly what you're going to crowd surf on.
Right. Well, I don't want it to be a gimmick. So it's like special occasions, like festivals and things like that. But I don't want it to be like Stitched Up Heart does this every time, and then we play a show and we don't have it and then it's required. You know what I'm saying? So I had it for like a whole summer one time and it was just our thing. But like I crowd surfed on a pizza float, crowd surfed on like one of those, it was like a Blackcraft Ouija board thing. I forgot what you call them, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And the Pegasus and a bunch of other stuff. So it was fun.
Okay, I do understand that where you don't want to make it as something where it's like everyone expects it. You want to make it something that is a special occasion type thing. And festivals are a perfect way to do it as well because you're going to have more outdoor space. You're going to have more places to do stuff like that. And you're going to potentially have a lot more people just all packed into the same spot at one time, focused on what's going on. And all of a sudden it's like, oh shoot, floaty, yay!
Yeah. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm sure I have a couple Pegasus floats like in the closet, just on hand just in case.
Just ready to go at any given moment. It's like, all right, we want that one now.
Yeah, which one are we picking today? I want like, some rubber duckies and stuff like that could be fun too.
A giant rubber ducky. Ooh, that would actually work, especially because you're crowd surfing, simply like it's in water. What goes best with water? Rubber duckies. Like it just makes sense.
How metal is that?
It just makes so much sense. And the only way that you can get more meta is like if you like really went full in and just tried to like reverse engineer the whole entire Deadpool movies and put it into your live set.
Oh my gosh. Then I need like a Deadpool costume and then I can have a unicorn to float on and then that would work.
That might be the most meta thing possible.
That's pretty awesome.
Okay, so then maybe if all of a sudden if at Rockfest or at Blue Ridge, all of a sudden I see you in a Deadpool costume and a giant Pegasus float and be like, I know who that is. Yes.
I'm just going to start going to the festivals. Like my side outfit when I'm not on stage will be Deadpool and nobody will know. And it'll just be like.
I'll be like, oh, cool. Everyone will probably want to take pictures with you, but it's like they're going to want to take pictures with you because, hey, it's Deadpool.
Because I'm Deadpool. Yeah. Deadpool with boobs.
Hey, that could sell. You never know.
Or lack thereof, anyway.
Or lack thereof. But also, one thing I do want to talk about as well is the fact that, especially during the pandemic, you have really taken a huge grasp over Twitch streaming, not only streaming World of Warcraft, but also playing games with fans, with patrons, and also talking with many different artists in rock and metal as well. So what was the whole purpose behind getting behind that? Especially, I know a lot of people have been doing that during the pandemic, but what was the push to get back onto Twitch and then to really drive home with not only playing World of Warcraft, but playing games not only with fans, but with other band members as well?
Oh man, like I tried the Twitch thing a couple years back. And I've tried playing World of Warcraft for a little bit and it just didn't work because you need all the special computers and all of the equipment and the internet connection and all of that stuff. And I had like a little Mac laptop that wasn't gonna stream properly, you know what I'm saying, and play World of Warcraft. So I stopped doing it. And then when the pandemic hit, our manager kind of pushed us. He's like, come on, my other bands are doing it. Here, just try it. It's working for them. Just try it out. And then I was like kicking and screaming, like, I don't want to. And then he's just like, just try it. And he's like, you have to buy a $2,000 computer, but trust me, it'll be okay. I'm like, okay. And so first day that we all got together, it was me, the guitar player, and the bass player. And we did the stream and we're like, dude, that was so much fun. Let's just do this every day. So we would Twitch stream. Everybody had their own day because we don't all live together. So we'd have like the drummer now has Sundays, Mondays the guitar player, I'm Tuesday, Wednesday is the bass player, and then we have a couple days off now. But we were doing it every day. And it's kept us like, it's actually, we've grown even closer with people because it's kind of scary to be vulnerable and just bury yourself and be, real on camera for whoever else to see, our YouTube, our Facebook Live, all that stuff. Just sitting there playing really poorly at a Call of Duty,
Oh, trust me, if I would have ended up like Twitch streaming as well, you probably would have seen the worst Call of Duty playing of all time. I would have ended up just wanting to just go around and troll people as Riot Shield, man, just because I thought it was funny. But yeah, that would not have gone well.
We played Fortnite for the first time recently. That was pretty fun too. I love Among Us. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, we've had so the interview stuff kind of happened because I like to have like things in order. Like the boys will just stream whatever. They'll just talk for an hour or whatever. But I like to have like a show, like set it up where I'm like, okay, well, I have this game at this time and this at this time. And so I just decided, I had a friend on and it did so well. I was like, whoa, I should just ask all my musician friends, see if we can, if they want to come on the show. And I asked everybody, like, I think everybody, I missed a couple people, but I'm out of streams now because we're getting really busy with writing and the shows and stuff. But I'm pretty much booked up till July for every single Tuesday. So I'm like booked 3 months in advance, just making sure it works. Sometimes people, don't show up or something. And then I'm like, all right, well, it's cool. We'll just play some video games, so it works out. I've had, people I was like, whoa, you're really going to come on my show? Why would you do that?
Yeah, because I was looking through some of the people you've had in your show, and like the first one that stuck out to me was John Moyer from Disturb. I'm like, how the hell does that happen? Okay, because I've Disturb was like the first band ever latched onto as like one of my favorite band that wasn't something that my parents influenced. They're like, okay, here's the stuff they listen to. Like this is the one thing that was for me. So I'm thinking, how the hell does that happen? Then taking a look at a couple other ones as well from recent, like Philabonte from All That Remains, Rashid Thomas from Nonpoint, and of course Diamante with her brand new album coming out as well. Because you said like talking about being vulnerable on Twitch stream, listening to that album. I talked to her about the album before too on the podcast, and I was like, holy shit. So seeing the fact that you're able to go in depth with these artists and have fun and talk with them and create this whole entire show on Twitch, especially to not only connect with them, but connect with the fans as well, it makes it more of an event for people to get to come in. And all of a sudden it's like every single Tuesday, hey, Mixi's going to be on Twitch. It's going to be like a weekly kind of show thing. So let's kind of make sure our schedules align so that we're open so we can be at that Twitch stream and we can watch it and we can be a part of it.
Yeah. There's been a lot of really cool people. Dia, I've known her for a long time. Like I've known her since she was baby Dia. She wasn't even like 18. She was so cute. And I just fell in love with the girl. So especially girls in rock, I seem to just gravitate towards. I don't know if we just have a lot of stuff in common. So I just, we've been through the same kind of thing. We know the industry when it comes to girls like us and our music and stuff. So I feel like there's just a lot of similarity in what we've been through in our dreams and stuff like that. And John, I met him, I think at a festival a long time ago. And every show that we'd play that Disturbed would be on, or Art of Anarchy or would be on, he would always come up and he'd watch the set, and he was super supportive. And he'd like let us watch Disturbed side stage. You get chills, like just like seeing, Sound of Silence, chills, like across the whole body, chills. Uh, and he's always been super supportive and really cool. And I forgot, he liked an Instagram post, so I messaged him, "Hey, you want to just come on my show?" I hadn't talked to him in like a while. We actually hadn't talked in years. And he was like, "Yeah, let's catch up." So he hit me up after the show, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to do that again? Like, you want to hang out with me again?" Oh shit. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So I have him in July, I think.
Nice. And I like doing that kind of stuff. I totally understand too, because that's what I do with some of the things with the podcast, where it's like, okay, I have guests I want to get on. You know what? Might be at times feel like it's a little bit of a reach, but sometimes they just say, well, what's the worst that can happen? If I reach out to them and they say no, they say no. If they say yes, then woohoo. So I do kind of some of a similar thing, even if it's like someone like, you know what? I'm getting into this artist. Kind of like what I did with you guys with Stitch Apart. I'm like, I'm starting to get into Stitch Apart a lot more, especially with festivals coming around. And I'm like, I really want to see them play live. So let's just see if I can make something happen. All of a sudden, bing, bang, boom. And we're here right now. So I'm like, this works. And I like to see how you got through some of that process where it's, connecting with these other artists, even if you haven't seen them or talked to them for a while, just reaching out, just saying, hey, let's do this. And all of a sudden, just getting that response back of yes. And all of a sudden, now he's going to be back on the show in July. I mean, you could potentially take this on the road once things get going again with tours. And all of a sudden, you're going to be like, you could be doing these things from the road with other artists that are on the road at the same time in completely different parts of the United States or even at the world at that fact. And then all of a sudden, you guys are talking about different tours, different things that's going on right now while it's happening. And people get an inside look at what you're doing on tour, what they're doing on tour. And it just creates this whole other closer community, not only with you and these other bands, but you and the fans as well, of not only your band, but also their band.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I think it's going to evolve into something similar, something like that. I'm sure that, if we're out on tour with bands or something, I could ask them if they'd want to hop on the stream and just chill for like 30 minutes to an hour and chat. Phil Labonte, he, from All That Remains, he also does Twitch streaming, and he performs, and he had that's the garage.
Okay.
He had actually rated our channel when I forgot what I was doing. I think I might have just been playing a video game, and he rated the channel. I was like, oh, that's super cool. Oh no, I had Rashid from Nonpoint on.
Okay.
And they're good friends. And so he rated the channel, and then I hit him up and I was like, hey, you want to come on the stream? And he's like, sure. So like that kind of just happened through Twitch. We've had, Rob from Escape the Fate, Craig Mabbitt, Heidi Butcher Babies, all of those people. And there's just a lot of people. And I did ask a lot of people, and there were some people that were like, I don't really like interviews. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But some people are very introverted, and it's not like personal. And I know that sometimes they're just really busy or something like that. So if I try not to take it personal when they don't come on my show.
I totally understand you on that. And I get the same things. Well, there's certain times with bands like, they just don't want to do interviews. Maybe that's just the way they are, or maybe it just doesn't work out. They're really busy. I just say, you know what? I'll figure out something else. Maybe if all of a sudden you don't want to do an interview, maybe I can just like talk to you for 5 minutes or something, and we'll just kind of take it from there. There has been one time where all of a sudden someone didn't want to do one. I'm like, okay, let's just talk, see what happens. We got in a Zoom call, all of a sudden 30 minutes later after we started talking, like, all right, let's just record one right now. And I was just thought, let's go. Boy,
yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah. No, there's a lot of really cool people. I'm just really happy that I was able to. I had Chris from Five Finger Death Punch. He came on. There's so many people. Ariel from Icon for Hire, and she was awesome. So Christina Chris, Kaleido, all these bands, if you're listening, check them out. If you haven't heard of them, they're amazing. Obviously, Diamante, Ash from New Year's Day. So it's been a lot of fun.
I can easily see that happening, but one other thing you're doing as well is you're introducing your band to a lot of these other bands and their fans as well, because they're going to see that their fans and their bands they're going to see you interviewing them. Man, there goes my grammar for the day. Woo. But they're going to end up seeing that their favorite bands are going to be on your show. It's like, okay, I want to see what they have to say. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what they've been doing, of course, because we've been on the shelf basically for over a year at this point with live music, see what's been going on. And all of a sudden, they're going to focus in on what's happening And now they're going to figure out what's going on with you, and now they're going to start following you more because you're going to have these other artists on there that they're going to get into. Then they're going to end up checking out iHeart as well, of course, probably right from the forefront because they want to find out more about you, find out more about your music if they haven't already. Then start checking out some of this stuff, and next thing you know, I mean, you're going to start seeing what you probably have already done is see that Twitch stream, see the subscriber count start to really increase, see the listenership on certain streaming services like Spotify Music start to increase, see downloads increase, just see the likes overall on Facebook, see the subscribes and the follows on Twitter and Instagram just really start to increase, all because you're connecting with these artists in more of a kind of just more of like a personal friendly way, just because you're just talking to them, you're just having a good time. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, totally. I hear myself back. I don't know why. Oh, there I am. Shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. I had something great to say. It was the best thing I could ever think of. I was going to say.
Or maybe it'll come back at some random point. Like I'll start talking and be like, oh shoot, I remember it. And then just blurt it out because I'd rather hear it than not hear it at all. If it comes back. But then again, I'll say back on the Twitch stream as well. It's just going to, it's increasing more notoriety for your band because, I mean, heck, even taking a look at some of the things that I had known about the band beforehand, but I started getting a little bit more into it when I started noticing some of the Twitch stream stuff started popping up on Facebook. I'm like, and Twitter, I'm just thinking, oh, what's going on here? Started taking a look at some more of it. All of a sudden started taking a look at even more of the music that I had. And then next thing you know, boom, now I'm here talking with you. So it just kind of, just that snowball effect. And again, I'm only one person. There are probably plenty other people like me that this has happened to.
Absolutely. I agree.
So just got to keep it rolling. And of course, we'll see what happens once live shows start coming back, especially what looks like the second half of 2021. Again, you're on the bills for a number of festivals. Hopefully there's another tour that ends up kind of snowballing into that as well, because then you can finally get out and actually show people the is it the Darkness album? I completely missed the Darkness album. My God.
Right.
Again,
Well, it was actually kind of cool because we did a couple tours leading up to the release, even though it did come out March 13th, 2020. We did, the Godsmack tour. It was like kind of pre-releasing. We were releasing a song every month or two, up to the actual release of the whole album, March 13th, 2020. So, everything was almost already out, which was cool. And we did a Steel Panther tour. I don't know if you've heard of that band, but they're awesome and super fun to tour with. And so it was a lot of fun. We did a couple shows with Seven Dust. But yeah, some of the songs were already out, so it didn't completely. We did get to play a little bit. We had a set for the Darkness album. But I just think that music comes out when it's supposed to. And if it was meant for some reason, ironically, just to shut down right on the day that the album came out, like Darkness just makes sense.
I'll say as a tenor, it really does.
Right. And the lyrics, just sometimes when I write stuff, it's because what I'm going through right then, it's just what I'm feeling. And I don't realize until later what it actually is sometimes. Like it'll be one thing earlier, but then later on, the lyrics in a lot of that album were about going through hard times, going through dark times over and over again, and like not being afraid of it anymore, and being like, I've made it through this before. So that's pretty much what this whole year was. Like there's a lot of dark times. There was a lot of isolation. There was a lot of scared, what's going to happen. And are we going to die? People died, and there's a lot of emotion. I think there's a lot of depression, and Darkness was, I was in a pretty dark place. I had to go through some things when that album was being written. So this next record, I just want to, we've been working on obviously the next record in this time. I just want to have a good time. I just want to I think about the feeling that people are going to get when they're at the show again, when they're finally seeing their band and they're just so stoked on it and they just want to have fun. I don't want them to feel that pain right now. I want them to be happy. I want somehow, without being cheesy lyrically, I want them to just be so full of gratitude, kind of, that they can be at this one show, whether it's in the middle of nowhere and nobody's at the show, or it's like a huge festival and Slipknot's, it's just anything, any show. The first one, have you been to a show yet since everything opened back up?
Since everything started opening back up, No, because I went to 2 shows in the during the pandemic as smaller shows, both here in Wisconsin. One was to see this band called GFM. It's three sisters. They play, basically I call them like if you took a Day to Remember and Paramore and they had a baby together, this is what they sound like. So they have this like pop punk sound, but they also go hard at the same time. So I saw them in like a room with like maybe 100 people. And then I saw bands like Relent the Protest and Seventh Day Slumber on like this small tour up in the middle of, I call bumfuck nowhere, Wisconsin, because it was, everyone knows Wisconsin. Wausau's like northern part of the state, 40 miles west of that at some random like winery. I just saw them there because I'd interviewed Relent and the Protest, so I saw both those shows. I have not seen anything since, and I think the next time I get to go see a show is May 28th because I had Royal Bliss on the podcast. They're playing 40 minutes away from me on that day, and I want to go support them and also pay up on my debt of first rounds on me because I want to see them. And I would say, hey, I'm bringing some beer. First round's on me, guys.
Oh, man, those guys tour. They tour a lot. Like, they are road dogs. Like, I can't imagine for them, like, constantly. I don't think I ever saw them not on tour.
Yeah. When I talk to them, like, yeah, we're always on tour, and having to be home for a year just freaked them out because they just didn't know what to do.
Right. Yeah. I think that it definitely shell-shocked a lot of musicians, but I think a lot of musicians needed it, and a lot of people in general needed it. But for people that are out on the road all the time, they never get to go home, and you miss family time. You miss like a lot of stuff that you forget that's so important, your family and people really close to you, because you're living this, like, it's like 2 separate worlds, you know? And when we thought that we had to tour constantly, we had to take every tour that came at us before, and I think that that idea has changed a little, where people don't want to be burned into the ground unless they really love touring no matter what, even if it's in a van and they don't make any money. Then it doesn't make sense to me, but you know what I'm saying. We want to be comfortable and we want to have a good time, and everybody, you know, we have to have like a RV or something, because I need a bathroom. I pee a lot. Like I drink a lot of water and Monster Energy, and I pee a lot. So I need a bathroom. Otherwise, we're stopping every two hours, you know. But yeah, I think that, I think we'll all be super stoked to be back at it again.
Understandable. And one thing I do want to bring up is, this is something I talked about on a podcast with just from the band Wrist Meet Razor, and I think it perfectly applies to what you're talking about with both the Darkness album and the new stuff that you're writing, because with the Darkness album, you were writing a lot of stuff that was more personal to you, what you were going through. And even though the meanings of those songs could have meant something completely different when you wrote them with what you were going through, once it was released and going into the pandemic, it really spoke to a lot of the different emotions that we were feeling at that time, because no one knew what was going on. There was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of darkness in front of us because we were all going to be isolated. We were all going to be away from our family, our friends, from the stuff that we loved. And it really kind of ended up taking a toll on a lot of people. So you really captured the emotion on that end. And what we ended up talking about with Justin was, especially during the time that bands are writing music around this time, music has a way of capturing the emotion of what's going on. So if you look at the history books, once 2020 is written in there, once you start seeing it, what's going to happen is you're going to know the events, you're going to know what took place. But where's going to be the record of that emotion? It's going to be in music, because you're going to be able to understand what the artists were going through and relate it to yourself, because we might be going through completely different things, but the emotions are almost relatively the same. So there's a record of that. But when you're coming out with your new album and you're talking about, or your new record talking about, you know, being more optimistic on it, getting to that, like, that relief that the end of the pandemic is going to have. You're going to be writing and telling the emotional history of the closing days of the pandemic, where hope has been restored, where we're finally able to, you know, get back out on, you guys are able to get back out on stage. We're able to get back out in the crowd. We're able to go into a mosh pit, and all those premonitions that we had about the pandemic are gone. We're able to go back to a point where when we're in that mosh pit, when we're at those concerts, when you're up on stage, all the crap of the world, all the bullshit just goes away. And all that matters is we are all positively happy to be at that stage, at that show. You're happy to be on stage. We're happy to be in the pit, because we're all connected to the music in a completely different way. But the key is, it is all positive.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some dark areas to get to that place. I think that, you know, we got greenlit for the next record just in the beginning of January. So almost everything was finally seeing the light. And we've been writing, in the meantime as well. But everything was finally like seeing the end of the tunnel, and so I think, like I said, timing is so important. I think that there's a reason that now is like the go 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 time, and there's going to be so much music that's coming out of this pandemic that's probably full of all those emotions that you're talking about, the angst, the isolation, the aggression, the depression, all those emotions that we had over the last year or so. And I think that everybody just wants to feel good now. They want to like go and talk to people and have a beer at the bar with a friend without a mask on, So I think that it'll slowly get there, and I'm in a place where maybe this will give some sort of hope lyrically. And you're so right, because I I don't even realize when I'm writing all the stuff that comes out onto that paper, that it's in there sometimes, and I don't even know if it's something speaking through me. I usually try to meditate on lyrics to try to get some sort of message across, to connect with people on a deeper level. But um, yeah, it comes out without even knowing. Even the artist doesn't even know sometimes that, like, wow, I did not know that I felt that way. Like that's real. It's like admitting all this stuff that you feel inside, and um, you know, it will be interesting. I think that hopefully the next album will connect with people too.
I mean, I think it definitely will, especially when it comes out, because I'm pretty sure by the time it comes out, of course, we're going to be past the point where that pandemic has kind of come to a close, where live shows are going to be back, and we're going to all kind of start feeling that hopefulness again, all that enjoyment, all that just relief that we're able to be together again, and just seeing those emotions be able to come out in your record. It's going to be like a timestamp of that time, and it's going to be something that inspires hope to people, because of course, when we come out of this, not everyone's going to end up being, super duper happy once again, just due to the fact that of all the stuff that we went through. They might need a little bit of a boost. They might need something that they're going to connect with emotion. That's going to end up being somewhat of a pick me up and remind them of the good times, remind them of the positiveness, remind them of the goodness that's in life. And you could easily provide that just through your music and everything that you're going through and everything that your mind is talking about. Because even with the stuff that you did on Darkness, where you're talking a little bit more of the darker stuff, a little bit of darker tones, a little bit more personal things that are going through you, that's going to end up connecting with people as well, which it has. Because when you're going to be more open about it, yes, people are going to end up relating to what you're talking about in their own way, because everyone's gone through things differently, but they're going to connect with the emotions. That's really where the key is the connecting the emotions between the artist, the songs, and yourself as well. That's what creates that super duper positive, impactful experience, to where you get super connected to music, where it becomes this driving force in your life, whether you write it, whether you talk about it like myself, whether you just listen to it, whether you're just a fan of it, no matter what, you're always going to have those songs there that just push you forward and speak to you on different levels. And when you're making this new record that's going to have that positivity behind it, it could be the thing that people listen to and get into like a harder sound with it, but also have a positive feel behind it. Kind of similar to like the Ghost Inside with their Return record from 2020. If you listen to Aftermath, yeah, it talks about a lot of bad stuff, but getting past that and the positivity that it creates, my God, if you're able to create and impact something like that on a whole record, you're going to have a smash hit.
Man, yeah, their whole story is just insane. Like, you can't say the name of the band without getting chills. But yeah, who knows what words will come out. The goal is always to use music as a medicine, and somehow be able to heal people through lyrics and whatnot in the music. And so it just kind of is seeing what happens so far. We've got a couple of songs that we're really in love with, and we have plenty of time. The great thing is that we're not really in a rush to finish this record like now. So we have time to, since we're kind of getting in early on it, to kind of really take our time and find the right songs that we know for sure. Like, when you feel it, you just know when it's a really good song.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to end up something that's going to feel like it's going to come naturally, and then something that's going to be like forced out due to different time restrictions. You're going to have the time to really sit with these songs after you've fully gone through them. It's like, okay, is this accurately putting out the sound that I wanted to put out? Are the instrumentals really putting out the emotion? Are my vocals really doing what I need them to do? And you're going to be able to connect and really get in deep with your emotions to figure out, okay, is this impacting the sound and then going to impact the listener the way that I want to have that, just basically smack them in the face with whatever message you're trying to put out. And like you said, with more of a positive, more hopeful style behind it.
We'll see. Maybe it'll be all dark and gloomy again, but for now, I mean, the writing process it's a lot more, it's a lot more different than people probably think. We really, really try our best on every single song, and we really try to like push the envelope on trying something new and evolving a little bit. And so without just writing the same songs that we've written before, and we try to find what did work in the past and what didn't work, and stay in that lane, what people want to hear more so than, so there's definitely going to be a lot of heavier moments on this record, a lot more guitars. I want to get some more, like we didn't really have a lot of guitar solos, or any for that matter, on the last record. So I feel like I was missing that. And I think there needs to be more riffs and breakdowns and screams for sure.
Because even taking a look at the song like My Demon, because you had that scream that kind of led into that like bridge breakdown part. I mean, that was something that just took me by surprise when I first heard it. I just thought, did that just happen? And just next thing you see me, like after I'm thinking of that, just have my head just bouncing back and forth, just headbanging. I'm thinking, yeah, that just happened.
We steered away from screaming a lot on the last record, but I mean, I still do it live like crazy. I add screams in almost every song, just because I just love to scream. But yeah, I don't know. I had surgery on my vocal cords before the last album, and that's kind of what put me into that headspace. I didn't know if I could ever sing again, and so I thought that maybe if I don't scream, then I'll be able to heal. And I don't think that mattered. It's just, warming up right, learning the right ways, techniques and things that I just didn't care about before, but it's only made me focus on that more. So now that I know that screaming is still okay, and I can sing and scream, because when you scream, you're doing something to your vocal cords that singing is the opposite. You want your palate in the back of your throat. So this is a vocal lesson, everyone. the palate in the back of your throat to be up, but when you scream, it kind of crunches it, I feel like. And so you have to treat your brain and go to the soft voice and then the screaming voice and get your palate to go up on the singing. So there's just stuff and singer things.
That's a lot to go over, but it's kind of seems like what kind of similar to what happened with like Matt Heafy from Trivium, because on the Sounds and So Until the World Goes Cold, that record came out in 2015, because he pretty much went clean the whole entire time, because I think he also had surgery on his vocal cords. But then you go into the Sin the Sentence from 2017, all of a sudden he goes with the unclean screams again. But you're seeing I think that also could be a very good thing that ended up happening just on an like a oddly good, or was it like blessing in disguise, because now you're starting to know more about your vocals. You're starting to learn more about what it takes to really mix those in together and how to efficiently do it. So you're kind of being forced to relearn it, but it could end up being all for the better too, because you never know. You might scream a little bit more on the next record as well. You might bring it all back, and you might connect in a way where everything is mixed in so well to where when you're screaming, you're laying out these certain emotions, maybe of just this raw energy, maybe this more high impact sound, maybe a little bit of anger, maybe a little bit of anxiety, and then the clean vocals could just end up amplifying this overall sound of just maybe relief, maybe positivity, maybe just kind of just, even if you're talking about something darker, it could even bring it down further. You never know, but the fact of the matter that you're going to have that in your arsenal is just going to make your music even more dynamic.
Yeah, well, I'm very much a advocate of where the screams go should be placed where the song needs it, where the emotion is there. Like, you can't scream like, yeah, I'm so excited, today is so much fun. like the screaming is for like a pissed off part, like some emotion that you can't get out without the F-bomb. You know what I'm saying? So like,
that's a good way to put it.
Right. The soft stuff is the pretty stuff, and I think I personally like that combination, and I also like the male vocal with it too. So I don't know. We're just, throwing paint again, as we do for this next one.
Yeah, but as long as what I always say is, as long as it feels like it comes out naturally, you just kind of let the song happen, because like you said, with the unclean vocals, you're not going to try and force it in somewhere where you're just going to be like, oh, I'm so happy. No, you're not going to necessarily do that. But if it's going to be something that's going to express feelings of kind of like a little bit of like cockiness or an arrogance or an anger or a kind of like a anxious, depressive, even potential like crying out for help kind of emotion, whatever you're trying to put out there. If an unclean scream feels like it's gonna be more natural to bring out that emotion, by God, put it in there. Give it a shot. If it for some reason you put it in there and all of a sudden you don't feel like it works, try something else. Just, you have the power just to completely work with these songs and just figure out what you want to do with them, especially with the fact that you have more time to work on these. You have time to try so many different things. So if you want to try and experiment on something, hey, give that a shot. Why not? See if it works or not. And even if it's a crazy idea, it could be the crazy idea that all of a sudden just works out completely and the band blows up even more than it has right now. You never know unless you try.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why we don't stick to what's comfortable and be complacent. We usually just really try to push the envelope. I mean, I've screamed before. When we first put this band together, I actually wrote the screaming parts in the band for a male vocal. And when we had band practice, I would scream those parts for that person to sing, to remember where it is. And nobody would ever scream it. So I just ended up screaming it. And I was like, oh, I can scream. I had no idea. It's just kind of, it happens. And then that just turned into that. So, but I backed off because of the surgery. And now I'm feeling a little more comfortable. Like I can do more things and I'm not as scared.
And not having that fear is going to be a big thing as well, because when you have that fear in the backyard, no matter what it is, it's going to end up kind of pulling you back from whatever you're trying to accomplish. And this doesn't just go for, trying to scream. This goes for anybody with anything going on in life. Hell, there's times where I've been fearful of stuff and I've held back from trying different things, from going out and potentially trying to pursue different opportunities because I was afraid of what might go wrong instead of looking at, what might go right. Because even getting out of college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do exactly, even though I had the world in front of me. And I kind of was like, okay, I'm not sure what to do. All of a sudden I got a temp job. It was like a 9-to-5 kind of thing. And I absolutely hated it. And I tried playing it safe because I didn't know what else to do. And I was afraid that trying something completely wacky and on my own wouldn't work out. And now look at me. I'm doing a podcast with Mixi from Stitch Up Heart right now. And I absolutely love doing these. I mean, this is my 184th time doing a podcast. So I'm like, hell yeah, this is fucking awesome. And I'd rather be doing this. So it kind of was like if I didn't have the fear anymore and I took the jump, kind of like with you with the unclean vocals, now that fear is going away. So you're able to take that jump and add them more in. You're able to really try and see what's going to happen with these songs to really pull out the emotion that you're trying to pull out. And next thing you know, like I said, you could potentially have something where this album's going to come out whenever it's going to release, and people are just going to end up looking at it just saying, holy hell, how the hell do we sleep on Stitch Up Heart this long?
Well, I hope they say that because I really am putting everything on my heart into it. But yeah, I mean, it was a scary time. So, we had 6 months. I knew, first off, our album Before Darkness, Never Alone, was our first album with the label. It was released in, I believe, 2015, I want to say. 2 months before the album was released in May 2015, I found out about my polyps in my vocal cords, and I was like, great. And the doctor's like, so I was like, I have an album coming out. He's like, good luck. I don't know how you're singing right now. So we had to tour for 2 years, with this. So I'm just pushing and pushing through it. I'm like, I guess I just figure out whether or not, if I just lose my voice one day, that's the way it is, So, so then I had to take a time to do the surgery. They said that it would be 2 months and I'd be fine. And we had festivals and we had a tour with Hailstorm and In This Moment 6 months after the surgery. So I'm just sitting there not even able to close a note together and my chords to close in certain areas because there's space that wasn't there before. So I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I have no idea. And after conquering that and making it through that, the darkness and dark times and being able to play a tour like that. And then after that, we did Godsmack. After all of that, the biggest tours we've ever done. And I survived and it worked somehow. But it was terrifying. And now that I've been through that, and that's where the lyrics for that for Darkness came out, I know that I can get through it again and I'm not scared anymore,
And you're going to let that natural confidence and lack of fear come out in the next batch of music that ends up coming out as well. And again, one thing that's going to be awesome is we're going to end up seeing kind of that evolution of the story in a way of yourself with Stitch Apart, because like you're going to get Neverland, all of a sudden you're going to get Darkness, which is going to look back at that time. And now you're going to take a look at this next one, which is going to kind of just continue on a story in an odd way, but we're going to end up getting a deeper, in-depth look into what you went through and what you want to show us. Very similar. I got to use Diamante as the example with her new album, American Dream. Very similar to what she did was just opening up completely. And it's just going to be something where people are going to connect with it. People are going to just really be able to get into it because you're being completely honest with us. You're being open with us. And we're going to end up accepting the fact that you're basically opening up to us and showing us the emotion that you went through. And we're going to be able to finally give that emotion that we're feeling that's very similar to that, even though we went through different experiences. We're able to give that emotion a tangible explanation. We're able to give it a tangible sound. So if we're feeling about something and we're trying to like relate to something, we can listen to those songs and really get to know what happened. And really, if it's something that's good, we're able to remember it. We're able to use it to inspire us. If it's something that was dark, we're able to use those songs to really understand what we went through and then work to get past it. Even though, you know, you might have gotten past it before, those things always end up coming back at some point. And it's just something that you're going to end up having to use to kind of like get through like a battle or a war even within yourself. And your kind of music will end up helping do that, especially what you did on Darkness and what you're going to be doing on the next record.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the goal, is try to help people through it. So, yeah, you got it. You hit it on the hammer on the nail on the head or something.
Hit the nail on the head, or I can just go like this and call it a day.
Yeah, you know.
You know, I have to get my head ready too for, you know, mosh pits, probably get hit in the head a couple of times. Got to make sure, you know, it's good. You know, 7 concussions in so far. We're going for 14 at least at some point. So I got to get working on those.
Wow, that's a lot. From mosh pits?
The first 7 were all from soccer, unfortunately. No mosh pit ones yet. I probably did get one from a mosh pit when I got my head basically split open, but yeah, I just refused to end up getting checked out because I didn't want to miss. Because Motionless in White was the headliner that night. I didn't want to miss it.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter if you have a concussion. Just don't miss the band because, yeah.
No,
you hear that, people? Everybody listening.
Yeah, you know, I just end up like, because I was bleeding out, like I found a bunch of like paper towel just basically right under my eye. I stuffed it right up there.
Oh my god!
Somebody ripped off a piece of their flannel shirt to basically make it like a long piece of like just fabric. I tied it around my head, and I'm watching the rest of the show with one eye because I look like a pirate. And not gonna lie, I talk about this a lot because I absolutely love that story.
That's a great story. It's really good.
So
but you survived.
I mean, I'm here, aren't I? And that was back in October of 2019. Of course, also, it's Motionless in White. It's the month of October. You can't miss that.
Yep, and you need a concussion for it.
and I need a concussion for it to really fully enjoy it, even though I rather would have gotten it. Because for most of it, I will say I didn't jump into the pit because I didn't want to open up the cut again and bleed over everybody. I was on the edge of just pushing people around because that's pretty much the best I could do. But
do you always go in the pit? Is that where you live?
Ever since I started jumping the pit, I started jumping the pit in 2017 because I've gone through some horrible like depression, suicidal tendencies, and I was just trying to find something just to like get me back into it. So I went to go see Rise Against play because I wasn't listening that much anymore. They're my favorite band, but just different things that happened. I just wasn't wanting to listen because of different bad emotions. Like I got to take my favorite band back. I was seeing them having a great time. Everything that was bad left. And for the final song they played, which was Savior, my favorite song of all time, someone threw me into the pit and I got decked right away. And it was just, I don't know why. I just got so energized from it. And I just kept going crazy. And ever since then, any chance there's a mosh pit, I am in there.
I've been in a pit a few times, but I get too scared and I'll go in for like a second and then I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm in and out real fast. I think Loudwire had like a thing where they posted like what kind of kinky words can you use in the pit, in the mosh pit? And I was like, mine was in and out real fast. Yeah.
Then I'm trying to get pretty much I'd probably put something like, ow, you're too big, because there's always some guy that's like 275, 300 pounds in there that's just always super duper, like every time he lays into somebody, the person's falling on the floor. I did that at February 2020 with We're Alive, Escape the Fate, and Falling in Reverse. Jumped in the pit, first 5 seconds, big 275, 300 pound guy lays me out on the floor. I land straight on my back, wind gets knocked out of me like... I get picked up, they're like, are you good? I'm like, let me get my breath. Okay, we're good. And I didn't leave the rest of the night. Like, I was stuck there. You could not get me out of that pit. It was nuts, but that's pretty much what I'm like. It's like, at times I'm hesitant to get in there. I tell people just throw me in there because once I get hit that first time, it's over. I am like, the mindset is just set.
You're just like gone. Your eyes are red. There was another comment that was pretty funny. It was like, when are the girls getting here?
That's actually a really good one. But I have seen a couple of shows where like the women have jumped into the mosh before from the stage, particularly the women from Butcher Babies. I've seen them do it before, and I'm just like, the first time I saw them, I'm like, no freaking way. And everyone got a circle pit going around, their head banging like crazy. I'm just like, now this is freaking awesome. And just everything about that was like, everything's amped up. I'm like, oh man, how can this get any better? Then the headliner comes on, it's Hollywood Undead, and it just got so much better after that. I'm like, yes, this is the perfect flow of a show. Woo!
I know. I love that tour. I got to see their, I think it was their last show back in California with Hollywood Undead. I've been friends with the Butcher Babies since before Stitched Apart was a band. Like, I went to their very first show. Heidi threw a Barbie doll at me, or she threw it into the audience, and I caught it, and it was like a Barbie doll that had like just ripped up hair, just destroyed, blood all over it, and it had like SLUT written on its stomach, and like I was like, I love this woman. And I think at that point I used to drink, and I had a couple, and I was like, you guys need a keyboard player.
It's like,
but she never lets me down on that one.
Do you still have that Barbie?
No, I had put it in my roommate's bed at the time, and he woke up to it like, what is this?
It's like, what is this? What the heck is this? Like, ha 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 ha. Got you on that one.
I kind of wish I still had the Barbie. I have no idea what happened to it. I think it just like, it migrated from spot to spot in our apartment at the time.
So, because could you imagine if all of a sudden, like you saw the women from Butcher Baby went to one of their shows, and you just brought that Barbie back? It's like, okay.
No, she knows. The story is like, it's just a great story. I've known them for a very long time. There was one tour they did, I think, with Danzig, and we had a tour, and they played in New York, and we were playing the next day in Jersey. And so we went out to see their show and hang out. And all I remember is sleeping in the van in Times Square, like getting to bed at maybe 4 a.m, into the van in Times Square, just miserable. It was a fun night.
So now that's a tour story right there. Just going out, hanging out, having a great night, and then sleeping in the van in Times Square at 4 a.m.
Oh man, yeah. And then we had to drive to Jersey, and our drummer, I was like, let's just get to the venue, because like maybe they'll have some like somewhere to clean. This is when we were slumming it in a van for like 5 years. Maybe they'll have somewhere we can like clean up a little, before the show. And they're like, no, we don't want to go to Jersey. We don't want to go to Jersey. I'm like, it's not that bad. Listen, I'll drive. On the way, I get a ticket for taking a left on some street that you're not supposed to take a left at during these 2 hours of the day. And then I finally get over the bridge into Jersey, and we park at the venue. And I'm like, Jersey's not that bad, guys. I see this little kitten on the sidewalk. I'm like, look, it's a little kitten. It's not that bad, see? And then the kitten just starts taking a big poop on the sidewalk. And I'm like, okay, we just started crying. We lost it at that point. I was like, oh man, okay, I get it.
Now it's like, okay, I get it why you guys didn't want to go to Jersey, because there was going to be a random cat at the venue that was going to take a big poop in front of us.
It was this tiny baby kitten, and it was like so cute. I'm like, see, it's cool. Jersey's fine.
I'll say, please tell me you weren't like, oh my God, I must take this kitten now. And then all of a sudden you guys had a cat in the van the rest of the tour.
No, I didn't take the kitten. I don't know if you can hear the mews downstairs, but I do have 3 foster kittens right now. I feed, like when I'm not touring, I'll usually foster bottle baby kittens that can't eat on their own, that don't have moms. And there's not a lot of people that could do it. It's like around the clock. They eat every 2-3 hours. They can't go to the bathroom on their own. You have to like stimulate it. Anyway, they're yelling at me. I don't know. Can you hear the squeaks?
Yeah, I can hear the squeaks. I've seen a couple cats like walk up, and I've seen them behind the chair during the podcast as well.
Oh yeah, that one's mine. This one is my foster fail, Milky Way. She was also a bottle baby kitten. Come here, Milk. Hi, baby. She's kind of mad at me right now because I got a puppy recently, and dogs and cats are an interesting combination. Let's just say that.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. I mean, when I was growing up, though, I mean, my family, we never had cats. We had one dog. We had a tiny little beagle that literally ran the neighborhood.
I have no idea if they're gonna ever be able to be friends because the cat's like, it's a tiny little Pomsky. It's a half Pomeranian, half Husky, and she's adorable. Yeah, she's gonna be like 10 pounds max. She looks like a little wolf with blue eyes, and I absolutely love her. But the cats, she wants to play, she wants to bite, she wants to be a little mini wolf, and they are like not having it. And they've slapped her a few times, but they're very curious. So we'll see. I've had her for like 2 weeks now. It's been an adventure.
Give it some time. It might be a situation similar, like, when you have a family, it's like all of a sudden the dad's like, I don't want a dog, I don't want a cat, I don't want a pet. And then after like a month or 2 months or so, all of a sudden, it's like they are completely inseparable. That might happen. You just got to give it some time, because if it's only been 2 weeks, I mean, your cat's going to be used to just being like the cat of the house, being the like one that gets all the attention. So the focusing on there, it's like, okay, now you're bringing a new animal into my territory. So gotta back off. But if they get to know each other a little bit more, all of a sudden they're gonna get more comfortable with each other, accept each other. Next thing you know, you're gonna have potentially the best of friends on your hands.
I'm really hoping so. Early socialization is key. But she's in biting, teething mode. So she wants to chew everything, my hair, my face, like my fingers. So it's been a lot of fun. She's super cute. You can't be mad at her for trying to bite your face off, but like, it's crazy.
It's like, oh, you trying to bite my face off, didn't you?
I know, you look at her, she's this little tiny wolf thing, and with like bright blue eyes with the perfect eyeliner around it. And it's just like, okay, I'm mad at you, but you're cute.
I was always like with my dogs, again, the little tiny beagle that we had. One thing that she always liked to do whenever we were like playing was at times she started getting nippy and would always like nip my hands. But it was like she never would bite them hard. She'd just like nip them, and it was just something we'd always do. So there was one time because this was back when I was in high school, I went to school and there were just literally like bite marks, scratch marks all over my hands, all over my wrists and everything. And the teachers are looking like, Kevin, are you okay? Yeah. Why? Did you see your hands? Like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, my dog did that. Wait. Your dog did that? Yeah, it's all in good fun though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, I do plan to make her a tour dog. Possibly take her on a few tours, and I don't want her biting everyone. So I'm like really, really focusing on training her at a young age, so that when she's in an RV with 8 people, she's not freaking driving anyone nuts. The boys said I could bring her if she's trained well and she's well behaved. So we're playing it by ear at this point right now. She's probably not a good idea to bring.
Probably not right now, but then again, you've got some time before you really get to go back on some of those like longer tours again. So just give it some time. Really work hard on training the dog to make sure that it knows not to bite people, knows to be chill, also knows to be respectful to people around it, but then enjoy the fact that there's going to be a lot of people around. They're going to want to pet the dog. So
yeah, and I think she's going to love the attention for sure. But yeah, she's just a little baby right now.
How old is the dog?
I think 9 weeks. So she's like, literally, I just got her, and she can't go to dog parks yet. So all that energy she has pent up, like, is still like running around because I can't bring her anywhere because she doesn't have all her vaccines. So I let her in the backyard, and then she runs around and gets dirty real fast and then comes back in.
Oh, boy. But then again, you got to probably like a couple of weeks, couple of months even before like some of the major tours start coming up again. So you have the time to really make sure that the dog is properly trained so that when you get to go back on those long tours again, dog is set, dog is ready to go. And all of a sudden you're going to be the cool one on tour because, hey, such a part has a dog with them. How cool is that?
Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes. It's. I don't know if you've ever had a puppy at such a young age. Like that. It's a lot of work. And I don't know. We're just gonna see what happens.
I think
also, she's a wolf, like part husky, part Pomeranian. So she's used to cold weather. And my concern is that it'll get too hot on the road for her. There's been times when the RV air conditioner has gone out for 4 days in 100-degree weather. So definitely don't want to put a dog in a situation that might hurt her also. So we'll see. Might have to shave her.
You might, but then again, one other thing too is with different kind of tours as well, you might not end up taking her out until later in the year anyway on tour. So it might be at times where, it is a little bit colder outside, and all of a sudden you come and do a tour up in my neck of the woods up here, Midwest, like think Chicago, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, that nice colder Midwest area in the winter. All of a sudden, potentially something breaks down the bus, and all of a sudden it's going to get cold there, but your dog's just going to be sitting there absolutely loving it because, hey, look, it's cold. Hey, look, snow. Yay!
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have friends that bring dogs on tour, and when I was talking about getting a dog, I was like hitting them up, like, how is it? Like, is it okay? And they recommended it very much so. So they were like, it's the best thing that we've ever done. It's like just brings joy and lightheartedness to the vehicle, and so I'm hoping for the best.
Hoping for the best, and if you have people that that are going to end up supporting and be like, hey, we've done this before, it's great, why not give it a shot? And all of a sudden you can have the happiest tour bus in the history of the universe.
I hope so. I actually have been training her. So I go out of town a lot, and I don't want to have to have someone come over, walk the dog twice a day or take him outside. So I got this little AstroTurf square. Also, I don't want to have to pull the RV over every time. It's like this AstroTurf, and it's got a little drawer, and she just pees on the little thing, and it's better than a litter box. And she's been going on it. She's great with potty training. Thank God so far. But the biting has to stop. It has to stop, dude.
I mean, at least you have one thing that you can already hang your hat on. Like, hey, she's potty trained to all hell. She's gonna be good on that front. We're set there.
Yeah, so nobody's getting peed on. That's for sure.
And that is always something that is going to be a concern when it comes to having a dog on a tour bus. But the fact that you got that taken care of already, and that she's very good with using the little AstroTurf, perfect. Keep it rolling. Just keep it rolling.
Right. We don't need puppy pee pads everywhere, but that could, it's still kind of gross, but I'll clean it a lot.
It is a little bit gross, but then it's a little bit more concentrated to the point where it's not going to be everywhere. Because if you had puppy pee pads everywhere, all of a sudden everyone's walking over puppy pee pads and they're flying all over the place. And all of a sudden the bus has to come to a stop. And next thing you know, all these pee pads just start sliding forward. And you never know. All of a sudden someone might be laying on the floor and get a face full of puppy pee pad.
Yeah, so that would definitely get a no on votes for the next tour for her. So that's literally my goal. My focus is to make sure she's good enough to be my road dog.
And then all of a sudden would you ever bring her out on stage at some point? Be like, this is my dog. And then just okay, bye.
We'll see. I mean, she's kind of scared in general, even just to go in the car right now. So we take her on little tiny road trips to Jack in the Box, but I'm trying to get her used to it, so there's still a lot of progress to be made. But yeah.
But I'll put it this way, you've got some time to work with it. It seems like you have the motivation to get this done. You've got the work ethic behind it. I mean, if you've released 3 EPs, 2 albums, you're working on another album right now, you're constantly Twitch streaming. Yeah, I almost messed up Twitch streaming. There we go. Again, grammar going away in my head right now. But you have the work ethic ingrained in you to make sure that you get this done, and you already won a big portion of the battle with the fact that the dog is potty trained. You just got to keep it rolling.
She's smart. I don't know if you know about Huskies. They're so smart. They are but they're also super stubborn. So they do what they want and they won't listen to you. They will get what they want. So she's just like mama.
Hey, 2 peas in a pod right there.
Right. I mean, people say they're kind of like their dogs, right? So I'm a little tiny ferocious Pomsky wolf. Grr.
And apparently when I was a kid, I was a run to the litter beagle who was rather loud and ran the neighborhood.
That seems appropriate for you for some reason.
Not necessarily. I mean, loud definitely, and also with my dog when we had her, she was always the kind of dog who was like, okay, I want to have people around, but I just want to know there are people around. If you kind of pet me, you kind of annoy me, I'm just going to go somewhere else. But But if people came by, all of a sudden she's like jumping all over people for like maybe a minute. And then afterwards, like, okay, I'm done. Screw this. I'm over it. Me, I'm more just like, I like hanging out with people, like being more personal, just like having a fun conversation with people, just enjoying life.
Yeah. So you have a cat dog. She was a cat dog.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, she'd even like sit atop the sofa that had the window overlooking it just so she could look out the window and just sit.
Yeah, that's a cat. You got a cat.
Apparently I had a cat dog that also had the deepest howling bark and the longest, loudest bark. It was just like, you see this little tiny beagle all of a sudden run through the yard, just hear out of nowhere. It was nuts. So I'll put it this way. When it comes to dogs barking, if it's low barks and it's forceful barks, I can get by with it fine. I know people that have dogs where it's like the really tiny ones where they have like the little like chirp barks. That gets me still. It still gets me.
That is actually something I was also worried about, but she's very quiet. She crate trained really fast within a day. She went crazy the first night, but we've been talking about dogs for like 20 minutes now, so I'm just going to stop. But she's not yappy, just saying.
Not yappy, but definitely a dog that you're going to want to see on tour at some point.
Yeah. Maybe she'll crowd surf with me on like a unicorn float.
You know how epic that would be?
Oh my God. A giant doggy float.
A giant doggy float with a dog and with Mixi. Holy crap. That would go viral on like Loudwire, Kerrang, Alt Press, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Trying to think of some other place that could go viral on, shoot. I don't know. A lot of different places. I had some, and I'm like, no, I'm completely forgetting the name of it, but
on the internet in general.
Just on the internet in general. That would be freaking awesome. So, Mixi, take a look at the time. I know you said kind of like an hour. We're kind of like hour 10, hour 15 already because we just kind of started talking about dogs and it just kind of just went flying. And I didn't want to stop it, but you're like, okay, we talked about 20 minutes. Maybe time to cut it off. Totally understandable.
I wonder how many people sat through the dog conversation.
Oh, I'll end up making sure that the dog conversation is a highlighted point at some point when I promote the podcast as well, because it's like, you see dogs, you hear people talk about dogs, you just get right on into it. I mean, because I think one of my friends, Jordan, he's got a band called Necessary Noise. He's got 3 dogs. I've had the podcast twice. Both times you're about to stop, like, end the podcast. Also, we had to go for another hour and a half because his dogs just jumped on the screen. It's like, okay, there are dogs here. We want to talk about this. People want to see dogs.
Well, I actually got her with the profits I made from Bitcoin. So sometimes we call her Dogecoin because she's like a little Doge. So that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation that we could easily get into. But again, time might want to just not go on because I'm in Dogecoin right now. So
me too. So, what is it looking like?
It wasn't
looking pretty today.
It was dropping the past 2 days, but then again, you never know what happens. I'm using it as a long-term investment.
Oh yeah, and tomorrow and the next day will be great. But I'm gonna sell probably SNL. But anyway, Dogecoin for the win. Yeah,
for the win. Woo! Alrighty, Mixi. Well, as we close out this podcast, one thing I always like to do as we close it out is give you, the artist, a chance to say whatever you want, whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug. Honestly, whatever you want to say. So, Mixi, the floor is yours.
You can go to our website, check out our festivals and tour dates at stitcheduphart.com. There's some merch there. Get our album Darkness, or check us out on Spotify. Make sure you like and everything. YouTube, there's tons of music videos. I'm all over the internet. Mixi Official everywhere. Stitched Up Heart everywhere. Just Google it.
You know what? Instead of just Googling it, I want to make it easier for everybody like I do all the time. So what you're going to find in the description of the podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio, is something that says, find Stitch Up Heart online, and whatever I can find at Stitch Up Heart, and with Mixi as well, socials, YouTube, the Twitch stream, because that's going to be something that we're going to want to get people on as well, where they can find you online, where they can find different things for concerts that are happening, buy some merch, stream the music. There's going to be just a bunch of links that are going to be all labeled for find Stitch Up Heart online, find Mixi online. Again, you're going to be able to follow the band, follow her, subscribe to all their stuff, check out their live shows, get some tickets to those, stream their music, buy some merch, all of that. I make it super easy, so you have no excuse not to follow them and listen to music and get into the band.
Yeah, go check out those links because I just know stitcheduphart.com. You'll find some stuff there.
There it is. I'll find everything there. And now time for my second thing I like to end with. And Mixi, this is something I always do if I enjoy having a guest on the podcast. So this pretty much happens every single time. And the podcast with you has been absolutely no exception to the rules. So I'm making you this promise because I love having you on the podcast and I want to show as much support as possible. So like I said, I'm already have tickets for Rockfest in Wisconsin and Blue Ridge in Virginia. So I'm going to be able to see you twice this year at the very least. So this is not a if, this is a when, because again, there's 2 times. When I get to see you perform live for the first time, I want to show my appreciation. So I know you said when you used to drink, so not anymore, but we'll have a bunch of stuff at Rockfest and Blue Ridge. So first round's on me, whatever you want. First round's on me.
Monster Energy.
I'll be sure to have some of that. And especially with the monster chairs in the back, makes total sense.
Yeah, I have a little problem.
Oh, trust me, especially with us having to drive and just go crazy for 4 straight days at both those festivals, we're going to need a lot of it. So.
Oh, yeah. And if you want to buy anybody a shot in our band, our drummer accepts everybody in the band's shots, and our sound guy will also take a shot.
Well, then I'll extend the invitation to not only you, but to the rest of the band as well, and the sound guy.
Definitely the sound guy. Give him everything. He's the coolest. He's the best. He's a Wisconsin guy. We're actually flying in and rehearsing at his lockout in Wisconsin maybe a day or 2 before the show because we haven't played as a band together in a while. So
nice.
So it's going to be a lot of getting all the energy out and just I cannot wait. That feeling back, man. I might cry a little bit.
It's gonna be fun because that's gonna be that's probably the first major show I see because you're playing that the Wednesday special for the people that have the 3-day passes, which my buddy gave me one of his. I'm like, yeah, woo, because I sold mine a while back. He's like, I got an extra one. You still want to go? Fuck yeah, let's go. So I'll be there. I'll be in the pit for that as well. And then afterwards, I'm gonna have to make good on my promise. So
yeah, let us know. You know where to find us.
I know exactly where to find you. All right, Mixi. So in all good conscience, I cannot end this podcast by saying goodbye because of a couple of reasons. One, that seems like it's final. That's it. That's over. I don't want it to be like that because that just seems like the end of all of things. 2 is because, I made you that promise and I want to stick to that promise. And 3, especially as new music comes out, I want to make sure I stay in touch with the band and would love to have you on the podcast at some point in the future as well. Maybe when that new album comes out. So I can't end this with a goodbye. I have to end it with, see you later.
See you later. Definitely.
Woo! Well, folks, that was my interview with Mixi from the band Stitched Apart. Again, when it comes to trying to find Mixi online and Stitched Apart, just take a look at the description of the podcast. For Find Stitched Apart online, find Mixi online. I'm going to have everything there for you. You will not be able to miss it, and I got everything covered for you. Trust me on that. When their new album comes out, make sure you take a listen to it. When it's going to come out? Hell, I have no idea. They don't even have an idea, but just know that there's new stuff in the works, and I'm looking forward to it. Trust me. Make sure you go and connect them on Twitch. Make sure you go and check them out at a live show. I'll be at their live set at Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin in July and at Blue Ridge Rockfest in Virginia in September. So come enjoy a show of Stitch Apart and hang out with me as well. You never know what might happen. Want to thank Mixi for being on the show as well. And on that note, that's going to be for me today, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. Proximity rocks or rock and it'll thrive. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single way. I'm the big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah!